Okay, this week on the podcast, we've got 7 guests. Also, we talk about Jon Jones' new opponent, a Khabib Nurmagomedov new opponent. UFC have made some big announcements in the bantamweight, women's bantamweight division, should I say, for UFC 200. Plus, we've got some other little bitties we talk about also with UFC Zagreb around the corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Welcome one and all to John and Mike's MMA Corner.
MMA from a different angle.
And before we kick off with obviously our usual saga of laughter and seriousness, professionalism, we're going to start by asking you all to jump onto Facebook, Twitter, the lot really, the social networking sites, and give some of our esteemed colleagues a follow, because their hard work really helps not only us and yourselves, but just MMA grow. So first up we have MMA Scotland. We'd like you to also jump onto UFC Wreckage on Facebook. Their Twitter handle and their website is MMA Wreckage.
We also have MMA UK, and their Twitter handle is We Are MMA UK.
Jump on to Facebook to Fighting and MMA.
We also have on Facebook and Twitter The Real MMA Talk.
And last but not least, they're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Twitter. Can't miss them. If you like a giggle, you like a laugh, jump onto Funny MMA, kind of putting a light-hearted view on the aspects of MMA and the goings-ons.
I thought it was serious.
Exactly. So that's what you want to jump onto. Now what we're going to do is jump straight in to this week's edition. So I did say we've got 7 guests. I'm going to tell you who those 7 guests are. We've got Belil Muhammad and Steve Carl, who are taking each other on at the Titan FC card coming up for the welterweight title. This title has not been made yet by Titan. It's the first time someone's going to get a chance to grab it, so we get both of them guests on. Also on Titan FC is a great heavyweight matchup with 2 knockout artists. You've got Jack May and Chase Sherman. They're both going to be facing each other. Also, we get Charles Rose, a UFC featherweight guy, on for a little chin wag and a catch up. And then fighting on the Shamrock FC card, that's who we got on as well, is Stephen Mann versus Josh Thorpe. That's the main event. Then also you got on Dustin Lampros versus Greg Frudland. So we've got Stephen Mann and Dustin Lampros. Both of those dudes come on to talk about their relative fights. So that's our 7 guests on. I'm sure you're going to enjoy all of those people. Now you can listen to those, like I said, on SoundCloud, YouTube. Just got to go on, people. Click onto the playlist. It's on the playlist, and you can get them all there to listen to. Also, hit the subscribe button. I'm just going to put it out there. Hit the subscribe button. Keeps you up to date with all the guests we get on. Now, Mike, let's jump into this wonderful week of MMA, and let's talk about the biggest thing we need to talk about is World Series of Fighting, I feel.
Yeah, it's still the headline. To be honest, it got less publicity than, talking about fighters that are injured and pulled out, or Twitter arguments, etc. It didn't exactly steal the limelight, did it?
No, it did not. And, well, the thing is, you had Branch got the win, and Fitch got the win, and Magalhaes got the win. The whole main card was full of decisions, alright? So it gives you an example of how enthralling the card was itself. I'm not saying decisions are a bad thing, but if you've got the whole main card as decisions, it's not really going to entice your fight fans. And, Mike, I'm going to give you the viewing figures, alright? Are you ready?
Yep.
Now, the last card had a viewing figure of 208,000, okay? This card had 158,000.
Yeah. That's not good.
No, it is not a stable.
Was it a pay fight, was it, or?
No, just viewing. This is like just normal free view television.
Preview TV if nobody wanted to go on and watch it in America.
Yeah, with a population of I think it's on CBS or something. I think the channel itself has a potential of 90 million. I think it is. If everyone tuned in at the same time and watching that channel, the people who can access it, it's like 90 million.
Yeah, so basically it'd melt.
Yeah.
But it definitely didn't melt then.
No, Do you know what? In my eyes, I feel World Series of Fighting on their Twitter feeds anyway. All they seem to do is promote the UFC. It seems all they're doing is begging to get on the UFC Fight Pass. Now there was talks of them going on UFC Fight Pass a while back, but the problem they had was what was going on in the background that the UFC didn't like. I think a lot of it was about Ali being signed with them and the financial stability or not stability of the promotion. I feel that World Series of Fighting, they apparently got rid of Ali from being in connection with the promotion, so to speak. What they also need to do is focus really hard on actually doing good marketing within their promotion on their social media. They don't do it enough. They don't promote enough fighters within their promotion. They only push the guys who they're paying the money for. They're not putting any up and comers up there, in my opinion. They're not putting enough effort in. Yeah.
It's like you got the likes of so let's look at somebody that's on like a similar sort of level, like with Titan. Okay, you look at Titan, who push their fighters to give them access to fans and the media, and they're very much out there. They put on a good show. They match fights that are really like you know it's hard to pick a winner.
Yeah.
You know? So. Yeah, I think it's chalk and cheese. You know, they should really take it. You know, don't take a leaf out of the UFC because the UFC has got sackloads of cash. Take a leaf out of Titan. You know, where they just do things well.
Yeah.
You know, it's good business, shall we say?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, they could learn a lot from the likes of Titan. Hence, Titan is on bypass. You know, so
it is.
Will they? I don't know.
I don't know either, mate. But I'll tell you what. Look, we can either talk about UFC Zagreb, or if you want, we can talk about other news. It's up to you, mate. Which one do you want to do first?
Right. Well, let's talk about Croatia.
You want to do Croatia? All right, we'll do Zagreb. Okay.
We'll talk about Croatia.
Well, the card itself, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you how many fights I'm actually interested in watching, or. Yeah, I'm interested in 3 fights on the whole card. There's only 3 fights that tickle my fancy on that card. Honestly, I don't know about you, but I've only got 3 fights that got me interested.
Obviously, so the fight I'm really interested in is Nicholas Dolby against Zach Cummins.
Yeah.
That's my fight that I'm really interested in.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because Zach is a handful for anyone. You know, huge welterweight. I mean, don't get me wrong, Nicholas Dolby, you know, no midget, but Zach is a big welterweight, and he can fight. He has power, sound wrestling, and I think he might just be too much of a handful for Nicholas.
Oh, well, you see, the problem, I think Dolby's got the better footwork, he's got the better hands, and he's got the better combinations, really, on the feet, Dolby. If he can keep Cummins off him from getting him down to the ground enough, you know, get rid of that first round, and I say weather the storm, let's say. I think Dolby could finish that fight with a good decision. He can get a decision win. That's the fight for me that's interesting, because Zach Cummins, you know, he fought once in 2014, I think it did. Oh no, he had a year between 2014 and 2015 fight where he fought Steele. And then now he's fighting again in 2016. He's having these big breaks between the fights. I think it will make a difference, and it takes a toll. You know, when you're not fighting regular, there is a big thing with the timings and stuff like that. It makes a huge difference. So I look forward to the fight, though. It is, for me, that's probably one of the more interesting fights. Another one that's got me going, if I'm honest, is the debut for one guy, which is Demir Hadzovic against a guy who's an absolute killer. And I'm surprised about the matchup, if I'm honest. It's Mirabek Tuzumov, and he's on a 3-fight win streak. He's got 3 finishes, 3-fight win streak, and they're all finished like TKOs or KOs, whatever you want to call it. Demir Hadzovic, on his side of things, you know, he was great prospect in Cage Warriors in 155 division. I think he was possibly in line for a title shot at the time. He's on a 6-fight win streak, and you know, he's just, you know, for me, Hadzovic, he's got really good grappling. He's got good clinch work, good grappling. He likes to stay close with his striking. It takes a little bit of time to get warmed up. He's beat the likes of like John Maguire, former UFC boy, Martin Delaney, who's an absolute monster as well. I look forward to the match. Tuzumov, he's been training with Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, so his Muay Thai is, it's crisp. His combinations are great. Roger Huerta's doing a great job there.
Yeah, he's in good company.
But I just love that matchup. People are overlooking Demir, but at the same time, I like that matchup myself.
Another one I would like to see is Ian Entwistle. Now, the reason I'm looking forward to seeing it is, has he opened up his game a bit? He's a pretty much, I'm going to be careful how I say this. He appears to be more of a one-trick pony. I'm sure he has skills elsewhere, but he likes the leg submission. And,
heel hook.
Yeah, and I would like to know whether he has learned from his mistakes in the past.
He doesn't, yeah.
And also, I want to see how he is as a person, like, on his social media and in some of his interviews. He's come across as a bit of a dick. I've never met him, but his social media, sometimes he's like waving people in the gym and stuff like that, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? When I say people in the gym, I'm not talking about people that in his level. I'm talking about amateurs and beginners, and you don't do that shit, And it wasn't in private messages. It was open on his Facebook, and so it was for anyone to read that can access his Facebook, and I didn't like that sort of shit. So I want to see if he's humbled a bit. So it'd be interesting to see.
No, he's just a dick, Mike. He's just a dick.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of thinking that, like.
No, he is. I'm not really fussed about how he does. Hopefully, he goes for the heel hook. The opponent snuffs his attempts and literally just knocks the living crap out of him. I honestly, I'm not even paying any attention to him or his matchup. A fight that, it's not that I'm saying I'm interested in it, but a fight that of note, a fight that you might want to. There's 5 heavyweight fights on that card for us all. That's insane. But you got Derek Lewis against Gabriel Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga had possibly one of the worst fights ever in the world ever happened.
I unfortunately had to sit through it.
Oh, it's just.
I couldn't change channels. I was there live. I was pacing it for that.
Now, Gonzaga played it a bit safe in that fight because he had 3 losses under his belt. If he lost that at 4th, he probably would have got cut. But he's going against Derek Lewis, who, to be fair to Derek Lewis, he's had. I think it's crazy how many fights he's had. I think he's had 7 fights in the UFC. He's only lost 2. And in the heavyweight division, that's a good record, people, right? And he's on a 2-fight win streak. Gonzaga, if he loses again, that's like 1 win in 5. You start to question what do you do with him, and
if he loses to Derek, I'm not slating Derek because Derek, is forming a bit of a career for himself there. Like he has got a quite good record going, and. Yeah, if he gets a win over Gonzaga, I think we do have to say goodbye to Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga's getting on, basically, is the best way to put it. I don't want to be rude to the lad, but he's not a young spring chicken.
Well, yeah, and, he said it was due to... He didn't say it was his career, he said it was down to health reasons. He knew that the guy he was fighting was a big puncher, and he was concerned about his health. Well... Okay, but you are in the fight game. Whatever, okay, yeah. He didn't take many headshots in that fight, just in case anyone's worried.
Other than the main event, is there any other fights on the card that have got you?
Well, yeah, obviously the main event, Ben Rothwell against Julian Dos Santos.
Yeah, other than, Mike, other than that, I said.
Oh, sorry, yeah, other than that, I'm kind of interested to see how, I can't say her name, right, the show opener, the women's fight.
Moraz.
Yeah, I kind of want to see how she fares. She had a brilliant debut in the UFC, and then got stuffed up in her second fight. Came in carrying a little bit of that attitude and what have you in the second fight and lost. And then, so, you know, I'd just like to see how she fares in this fight, you know. So I'm interested, shall we say.
Okay, then. Main event, for, again, like I said, I'm only interested like in 3 fights, and that's the Dolby, Hadzovic, and Rothwell thing. That's pretty much my interest on this card. Ben Rothwell versus Junior Santos. Sorry,
I was going to say Robert Whiteford is on the card, but again, he's somebody who needs to
I'm not asked about him.
Present himself differently outside the cage as well.
I'm not bothered about him, Mike. Let's not talk about it. Let's keep going. So Ben Rothwell and Junior Santos. We don't need to talk about him, mate. Trust me. Go on then.
Right, so, yeah. Ben Rothwell, Junior Santos. Like, you've got 2 studs there. Like, guys who do exactly what you need to do outside the cage and do what they need to do inside the cage. Ben Rothwell was on a tear. You know, he needs to be getting a title shot. You know, and with a win over Junior Santos, he has to get a title shot in his next fight, I would say.
Well, yeah, you could say that, because Ben Rothwell is on a 4-fight win streak and two knockouts and 2 submissions, so he's putting guys away. Junior Santos, for me, he only recently lost to Overeem, and I think he's come back too soon. In the heavyweight division, you're not getting gently knocked out. You're getting really rocked. And
I worry for Junior Santos. Don't get me wrong. He got stopped by guys that are stopping other guys.
But
so,
the thing is,
I'm not talking about it. It's the way that he's lost some of his fights, and this was a guy who could really, you know, take a beating, and now I'm worried that the fights against Kane might have just destroyed his ability to take punishment.
And Stipe, the 5-rounder with Stipe as well.
Exactly, which in some people's eyes, and I would say mine, I thought Stipe won that fight.
Well, you got to think, JDS hasn't. He's not had a win streak, let's say. So he's not won like 2 in a row or more since 2012. He's winning and losing, winning and losing, and I know he's gone back to his old coach. He's left ATT, went back to his old coach, and I believe so. No, he's still at ATT training and doing bits, but he's also got his old coach, I think, helping with the hands, the boxing side of things. But I still, for me, I think Rothwell, he's got the momentum. I think he's going to just steamroll Junior Santos, because I think JDS should have took a bit longer off.
Well, to be honest with you, I would like to have seen him come. I would like to have seen him fall in the second half of the year earlier.
Yeah,
I would like to have seen him disappear, because that knockout was a brutal knockout, and he's been in brutal fights, shall we say, and there's got to be some damage going on there, you know, maybe some concussion going on, I don't know, you know, there's a lot been said about this, the time that you take off after, not necessarily knockouts, but brutal fights, even brutal fights that you win. You know what I mean? You're still getting hit. You know, the body doesn't care whether you got a win or a loss. You know, the body only cares if you got hit. You know, and I would like to have seen him come back maybe September.
Yeah, it's not a bad time. Yeah, September's not. I think with the heavyweight division, it's one of them ones where I think guys need to take a little bit longer than other weight classes, because there's a lot more force coming into a shot. Look, we'll move on then to... Let's talk about what's going down, what's happened lately. Would you like to start with, maybe, do you want to talk about Jon Jones? Do you want to talk...
Well, yeah. We might as well talk about the obvious, which is Jon Jones. Okay. Yeah, obvious thing, in case you haven't heard, wherever you've been, the fight with DC is off. And Jon Jones, who normally will not fight anyone at a short notice, has said that he wants to fight at short notice.
Well, hang on a minute, Mike. He's only said no once, and that was that short fight against Chael, and that was it.
Yeah, but he always made it clear that he wouldn't take short notice fight. He actually requested to fight on this card, and he's obviously eager to get back in there, and he is now fighting OSP, which I'm okay with that. You know, I was okay before I saw the breakdown, I mean, OSP is the only guy in the top 10 that is available to fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would like to have seen Andy Johnson, but he's just come out of some surgery, I believe.
Close. He went to the dentist, and he just wouldn't be ready in time. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's fine. And obviously, like, you know, you don't get many cracks at a title fight. So, and this is for an interim title.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's for an interim title.
The reason Dana White said was, like, Dana White though said that Jon Jones never lost his title though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So the thing is, what he's kind of saying is, Jon Jones in theory is still the champ. So we put an interim title in there. They're basically hoping that he wins it, because then he can face Daniel Cormier belt on belt. Because Jon Jones say, look, I never lost it, because he never did.
Yeah,
then because OSP,
I mean, I haven't got the statistics. I haven't bothered to sit down and work it out. But how many interim titles has there been in the last year?
Not many, Mike. There's only been 5 interim titles since 2012.
Oh, since 2012.
Yeah.
Right. But 4 of them are probably in the last year. You know, it's just I think with the fact that there's an interim title going up for grabs on the UFC 200, and you know, and now we've got an interim title just because DC can't fight. Normally, interim titles are normally when a title hasn't been available for up to a year, and then you tend to have an interim title, because a title has to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, the UFC can make their own rules as far as their titles, because it's their own promotion. But, okay, so referring to, so we say, another combat sport is in boxing, a title has to be defended every 12 months. And all other titles, and all other defences within that 12 months are voluntary.
Yeah, I'm listening, go on, yeah.
You're only contracted by the title that you hold to defend it a minimum of once a year. So, when an injury turns up and you now can't defend it, then that's when they then tend to bring in interim titles. So to bring in an interim title within months sometimes of a title last being defended, I get a bit frustrated. You know.
Oh, really, Mike? I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. For this fight, for the Jones fight, yeah, what you say, I think. Yeah, but that one I can understand. Yeah, I would give that. It's just the fact that they do tend to pin them on people a bit too easy at the moment. You know, let's just make this an interim fight. Right, you know, there's the champion there, and he defended in December. You know, why? You know, anyway, right, yeah. So before I get too deep on that one.
Yeah, you get a bit. It's a bit silly how deep you're getting, really, if I'm honest. It's a bit weird how you get into that. But anyway, look, OSP stepped in because he actually is the only guy available in the top 8 rankings. Like, he's the only guy available to fight.
He really is the only guy in the top 10. And OSP isn't a bad fighter.
He's not a bad fighter, but he was never going to be a top perennial contender. He was always going to be just short, but he's got a stab at Jon Jones. He's got that.
You know how I see him? I see him a little bit like a. Oh shit, my mind's gone blank. Come on, help me out. Brit.
I can't help you out. What are you on about?
Well, British fighter, light heavyweight. Oh.
Mike.
British light heavyweight.
What, you mean Jimmy Manoa?
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I see him like that sort of area.
Right. Yes.
You know, we'll be in fun fights, but I can't see him fighting for the title, even though he kind of in a way is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but he's the sort of guy where you can't have a bad night against him. Otherwise, you know, he has the tools to beat you if you're having a bad night. But Jon Jones should get this one out of the way.
Well, he was training for DC, so he was obviously in quite an intense training camp. I'd expected him to have his T's crossed and his I's dotted. So we've got next a matchup that we thought if it was going to happen, there was going to be one man that would be pulling out, and it was Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now,
no, it's that guy.
and I was heartbroken when this fight fell through, and it was Tony Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen, who pulled out. And,
yeah, the odds would have been on Khabib being the one that got injured on that one, but no, it was
Khabib is the man who is left hanging this time. You know, he's the one left dangling. He's the one missing.
Yeah, he gets to know what it feels like to get your fight pulled on you.
Yeah, and do you know what though? To be fair, Tony Ferguson, I'm glad he pulled out. Like he said, he had fluid in the lungs, and if he pushed through, it could have been, you know, pretty fatal.
We're talking fighters' health here. We're not talking about an injury. We're talking actually, fighters' health. So you got to think of the greater good. At the end of the day, this is a sport, and fighters' health and well-being should always come first.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
So as frustrating as it is, it's the right things happen.
Yeah.
And Tony Ferguson. Yeah. I can't wait to see that guy fight again. I just think he's a champion in the making.
Do you know what? It's going to be I think that he'll probably probably fight again soon enough. I can see them two getting matched up after this fight, if I'm honest. Tony Ferguson wanted to wait, but Khabib's actually matched up with someone not in the UFC lightweight division, which is going to surprise you.
Wait, what? You mean Conor stepped in?
But it's a bit crazy. But even though the lightweight division, which is the most stacked division they've got in the UFC, they actually and even Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Lee begged for this fight as well. One of the guys who's in the UFC, but they've given it to someone outside of the UFC. Daryl Horcher. Okay. Now, Mike didn't know. I didn't know. Everyone didn't know who this guy was. Mostly, but he was a professional fighter. He's 12-1. He was the current reigning CFFC lightweight champion. He's been signed up by the UFC to fight Khabib on 9 days' notice. It's going to be a catchweight, I believe, as well at 160, which is completely fair enough. To be fair, you can't knock anyone for doing it. I think we're going to see that a lot more often with the catchweight stuff, especially with the IV bans and stuff. It makes a lot more sense doing the catchweight bouts. So
and it's help for the fighters as well.
Yeah.
For the fighter coming in, it means that they can make weight safely, so that they can recover for the fight the following day as well.
So we're going to get that's done. Look, let's go on to another fight announcement. Miesha Tate versus Amanda Nunes, UFC 200 got announced. I was a bit surprised. I've actually found out as well that Holly Holmes' agent has said that the fight with Holly was offered to Miesha, but she opted for Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, it's not a bad fight in any sense. Although having said that, Amanda Nunes didn't look fantastic in her last fight. She did it at times, but there was also times where she didn't look great. But does she deserve a title shot? Yes, she does. She's in that area of take Holly and Ronda out of the equation, then she's next.
Well, you've got a lot of girls in that. Do you know what? It's opening up the bantamweight division even more so by throwing Amanda Nunes' name into the mix. Yeah, fair enough. She's on a 3-fight win streak. She did taper off though. The thing is, it's a 5-round fight, and in her last fight against Valentina Shevchenko, she had 2 good rounds, and then got to the 3rd round, and she really definitely tapered off there. And Shevchenko just was really coming on strong. Now, the 2 fights before then, look, she lost to Kat Zingano, remember, and that's what got Kat Zingano her kind of big shining moments as well. With that, Nunes was on top, and then the next round, Kat Zingano went on top, and it was awesome. But she beat Shania Baszler, which for me is no big deal. But then again, Betch Correa got a shot at title.
Yeah.
She beat Sarah McMahon, good win, very solid win, first round. I think, she got first round. I think off the top of my head, I think Sarah McMahon's been the most. She must be been the most underperforming girl in the 135 division. But the fight that showed a lot was the Shevchenko fight where she tapered off. She's going to fight Miesha Tate, who is a girl who can do 5 rounds. She's in very good condition. She's going to go in. I think for me,
and honestly,
go on.
I was sorry for yeah, with Miesha, I think like okay, she's had a little bit of a rocky road. Okay, so take away the Ronda Rousey fight. There was a couple of fights. So you had the Cat fight that she lost.
Mm-hmm.
Cat's a good girl, you know. Can take away her Ronda loss. You know, she's not doing anything wrong really. It's what was the other fight that we believe that Miesha lost, but she kind of got the win.
Liz Carmouche.
Sorry?
Liz Carmouche.
Yes, yeah. So, but, you know, her last couple of fights, especially the last one, yeah, you know what I mean? She looks very good, a sensible head on her shoulders, you know, she knows how to fight 5 rounds. You know, she doesn't give in. You know, she's tough to stay in there, whereas, you know, you can beat the fire out of someone. And I think with this added confidence of getting this title, you know, a UFC title, you know, it's, I think it will do a good, like, I think Miesha Tate will be better now she's a champion, if you know what I mean.
For me, from a technical standpoint, yeah. But Mike, from a technical standpoint, though, what people need to realise, Amanda Nunes, she's a tough girl. She hits hard, but the thing is, her conditioning is going to probably let her down if Miesha, if she's smart enough, gets it to the latter rounds. Miesha Tate, if I'm honest, she's got the more offensive game, and in the sense of she can throw the combinations. But what she can also do, Mike, she can also do is she can throw the double legs, she can throw single legs. She's got the takedown variations. She's also got the grappling capability. I just think she'll probably overwhelm Amanda Nunes a little bit too much in the fight. I think she'll probably get to the 3rd round or 4th round, try and just really wear her down. If she doesn't get it before then, really.
I was going to say, I think she might actually stop her.
You know, it'll be a 5-round fight. It's a title fight, so I think she will probably she'll stop her. If she can get her to the 3rd round, she'll stop her by definitely in the 3rd or 4th, because Amanda Nunes will.
I was going to say, I think she'll stop her sometime in the championship round.
Let's go to.
So, yeah, full 5th round up until.
Then another fight, Mike, that got announced was Kat Zingano against Juliana Pena. Which,
yeah, I'm up for this fight.
Do you know what? It's a great fight. It's a great matchup. It's also on the UFC 200 card. They're stacking the UFC 200 card with a lot of women's fights. Which, you know, hey, I'm fine for that, especially because they're matching up the exciting matchups. But also,
you look at that fight. If somebody gets injured in the championship fight, you've got 2 girls there that can, you know, be matched in a title fight, so you still get your title fight.
That's kind of what they're doing. They're saving themselves by banking these fights.
They're protecting the
title
fight.
They have to do it. They have to do that.
Good sense, you know.
Especially because it's the UFC 200 card. They need to like protect it a little bit, so to speak, with backup people.
I can't wait to see Kat come back.
I think Kat and Pena is just violence. Kat and Pena is a violent fight. It's going to be beautiful to watch. Another matchup, Mike, that got made was Aljamain Sterling got who he wanted. He got Bryan Caraway.
Yeah, he's been showing off, and he's flying the 3rd, and Bryan Caraway is taking the fight. So
loving that. Love that matchup. Love the fact that it's got made. It needed to happen in the 135 division. It was a fight that was bound to happen. I'm glad it's happening, really, because I think the winner of that puts their name in the mix. I think the winner might actually get TJ Dillashaw, if I'm honest.
Well, I was going to say was if Sterling wins it, I think he either gets TJ or he gets next stab.
No, I think if whichever one wins, will probably get TJ. I think, but let's go. Let's have a look here, because you've got.
They can get to fight for the right to fight for the title.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think they'll get, like I said, TJ. I think it makes sense if they get TJ Dillashaw, because, you know, with Cruz or Faber, either one of them. I think Cruz probably will beat Faber, in my opinion. You know, Cruz will have a little bit of a relaxation time.
I'm holding out for a fairy tale. I just want to see Faber with a UFC title around his waist.
Nah, I love the man, but it's not going to happen. He is the company man, but I just can't see it happening.
It doesn't have to happen, but it'd be nice. You know, it'd be a bit of a fairy tail ending, shall we say?
Let's go to a couple of we've got three more things to talk about, and then we'll wrap this up. We got Yoel Romero getting his suspension reduced down to 6 months.
Yeah, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, he appealed. You see, because when you saw the decision announcement came out that he failed his anti-doping tests, he claimed it was a tainted supplement. He said he was then going to fight for the suspension because originally it was a 1 year suspension, and then
No, I believe it was 2 years.
no, listen, it was a 1 year suspension, but if he goes to debate it, if he goes to appeal it, you get the full 2 years. Yeah, they said they'll give you one, but if you appeal it and you fail it, you get the full 2 years. Now, so it was either going to be 2 years or none. So it was a really high risk move. He won the appeal like he has done. It got reduced to 6 months. Now, I'm not overly keen on how they've handled it in the sense of why are they reducing it if that's their, but what's annoying is that's them admitting, not just a sec, Mike, that's them admitting that they're wrong, but they're not going to correct their ways by taking it away. But the thing is, at the same time, it makes him available to fight in July. Also, you have to factor in he's then got this tainted supplement. Why have they not said what it was that was wrong? Like, why have they not said specifically the chemical or the supplement? Why have they not mentioned that? That's another thing that's a bit shady for me. But yeah, go on, Mike. Now you can...
Yeah, well, what I was going to say was, you're either guilty or you're not. Yeah, you can't be half guilty or half innocent. You're either guilty or you're not in this game, because ignorance is not an excuse. Yeah, we've explained before on here that you can contact the UFC and they'll give you a list of, things you can use, etc., etc. You can tell them what you use and they'll tell you if it's okay. So they've got that thing covered. So there is no reason why you should have anything dodgy in your system unless you put it there. Also, so to reduce something, that must mean that you're now innocent. So if you're innocent, then why are you still getting punished? If you're guilty, then why are you getting a less punishment? And I think this is a dangerous thing, because this is now opened the floodgates that every time somebody gets caught with something, they're going to try and go down the same line. I think in most cases.
Yeah, I was going to say, not every time.
Yeah, I think this could actually cause problems. I just don't understand it. But I think when somebody's been found guilty, whether it's guilty a little bit or guilty big time, it should be announced what they're guilty of. Not until they are found guilty, but once they're found guilty and it's been proven and it's end of story, we should get all the facts so that we can say, right, okay, they were guilty of this, this is what they took, so that we're not just speculating, because if we knew everything, we could then maybe turn around and say, right, okay, now I understand why it's happened. He had a bad cough, he took some Calpol, and yeah, it's whatever. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see why and how they came to that decision.
Yeah, but what I was thinking when you said there about you said about how everyone's going to be trying to get this, that, and other done, get these tests sorted. I don't know if, like, for example, people who have won a fight, and they get a decision against them, say, oh no, you were doing this, you were doing that, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's fair to, like, if you have done a supplement and then get popped and then get this fight taken off you for no contest, if it is a legitimate reason, I do not mind that, because, for example, I know it's not MMA related, but I'm going to use him as an example. I was a Tour de France winner who got stripped of... He won the Tour de France, stripped of his yellow jersey because he failed a blood test because of his red blood cell count was high, and he was saying, I didn't cheat, I did nothing wrong, I still call myself the Tour de France winner. All it was, I slept in a hyperbaric chamber bed every night. He said that's not breaking, that's not cheating, it's not breaking any rules.
Up his white blood cells. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, EPO, right, blood doping, that, okay, is something that it looks just the same as blood doping, so that is a problem you have. So I would not, for example, if a guy got caught up and he said, right, you've been blood doping, no, I'll be sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber or at night. There's a yin and yang. So I understand, Mike, what you're saying, but I think if you're gonna challenge it, you better have a really, really solid case.
Yeah.
Solid.
So basically, it's a case of, well, maybe there has to be ways. Maybe they have to have a second way of testing. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
I don't know. No, it's not a second way of testing. Mike. Not a second way of testing, mate. They do blood. They do blood sample.
No. Sorry. When I mean the likes of somebody who's been sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, that now clearly that's okay within the rules. But it's shown a positive result.
Yeah.
So in that case, there must have been another way. Okay, test me another way. Like.
Mike, we're not doctors. Let's not go into this. Let's move on.
Mike,
we're not doctors. Let's not get into it, mate. So look, let's talk about Norman Park, Mike Wilkinson, two UK Brit fighters got cut from the UFC this week. What are your thoughts quickly on Park and Wilkinson?
Yeah, two good guys.
Awesome.
It's a shame, but do you know what? I can see those guys fighting in the UFC again. Both of them. If they can come away, string together, say, 3 good wins outside the promotion. Be careful where they go and fight, so that they're not in a rival promotion. They could get back to the UFC with 3 good wins.
They could, yeah. I can see why Park was maybe released. He was stuttering at that point in the 155 division. It is a stacked division. Unless you're making great strides, it's not going to happen in the 155 division. It wasn't the most.
I like Park. I like how he fights.
Do you?
He just can't get those finishes.
Yeah, well, Mike, that's the problem. If you can't finish a fight, you're not going to finish at the highest level,
yeah,
and that's the problem for him. I don't think he was the most exciting fighter. He had a couple of decent fights, but he wasn't, and that's only because of the opponent that he had. I just don't think he was always that. He wasn't always exciting. He had a couple of fights that let him get exciting. Mike Wilkinson, on the other hand, I quite liked him as a fighter. He was entertaining. He had a lengthy layoff with injuries. He came back. That absolute stellar knockout of Nicholas Backstrom was absolutely mind-blowing. But then he got absolutely manhandled, though, in his next fight against Macaroni, whatever you want to call him. I can't even pronounce it, for Christ's sake. But he got absolutely manhandled in the grappling department. So there you go. It shows you that there's holes in his game. I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, like you said, Mike, they probably could come back in the UFC again if they put the effort in.
And he's got a great management team behind him. He's in the same management as Conor McGregor and Michael Bisping. So I'm sure that he'll probably end up maybe on the Cage Warriors.
Or Bama. Cage Warriors or Bama, to be fair. Probably Bama, maybe.
Both roads can go back to the UFC. And do you know what? If he can get 3 good wins, I can see him going back. He's got good people looking after him. So yeah, I don't think this is the end of either of them.
No, it's not. Let's go to the Ultimate Fighter recently announced about they're doing a flyweight the Ultimate Fighter, and it seems they're really putting their arm out here, where the winner of the flyweight tough competition gets a shot at Mr. Demetrius Johnson. Now, at first when I read that, I was a bit like, that's a bit interesting. Well, sorry, I'll rephrase that. I've done it again. I've already done it again. Not Demetrius Johnson. They get a stab at the title, because I'm writing off Henry Cejudo, who's actually got to fight Demetrius.
You get to fight for the flyweight title.
Sorry.
Which means that you bypass everybody else.
Yes.
Currently in the UFC.
Yes. But there are guys, ex-UFC guys,
currently not in the UFC.
There are ex-UFC guys out there, though, who are in the 125 division who maybe could come back in and sneak up there. But the thing is, I found about that what was your thoughts on it, Mike? Sorry.
I think it's wrong. I think to get a title shot, you either need to be like, okay, so if you were, say, champion of, like, if you were champion of Bellator or something,
yeah,
and you were like owning that promotion,
yeah,
and you then signed to the UFC, I can understand you coming in and fighting for the title straight away.
yeah.
Okay, I can understand that. Other than that, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it should happen that way.
Right. Okay. Well,
unless you're creating a weight division.
Okay.
It shouldn't happen.
Well, I'm going to put an argument, or I'm going to put a thing out there for you. Okay. Well, what about Matt Serra beating George St. Pierre?
Now, right. Okay. So with Matt Serra fighting George St. Pierre. Now that was people who had a career in the UFC.
Yeah.
Then,
and Tim Elliott, like I said before, mate, Tim Elliott can come in and go and get a title shot against Demetrius Johnson.
Now the difference is, he is actually a current champion at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to know who's actually fighting. Now, I'm sure, right, so if let's say there's 8 guys.
They've not done the tryouts yet.
No, so let's say there's going to be 8 or 16 guys, yeah, depending on how that series is going to go.
Yeah.
There's not going to be 8 or 16 champions from other promotions, okay? You know, of good promotions, because there aren't 16 other great promotions out there. There's good promotions, but there's not 16 great promotions out there. Okay, so you need to be sort of top tier promotion to be able to come in and fight for a UFC title on your first fight. Sorry, yeah. So like it'll be your first. I'm not sure if it's going to be a case of you fight in the final and then you go on and fight for the title. I'm not sure exactly. You know the workings of it.
No. You fight Demetrius Johnson. You fight Demetrius Johnson on the tough finale.
Or whoever happens to be holding the title.
Mike, you fight Demetrius Johnson on a tough finale, or whoever's signing the title. Yeah. I keep doing it. It's just second nature.
Yeah. So your first fight in the UFC for the title. That's kind of, It's now when Matt Serra did it, he was fighting. Everybody he was fighting in that series had already fought in the UFC.
Right.
Yeah, it was the comeback. It was called.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, there was nobody in there that hadn't fought in the UFC before.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know you're mixing with guys of a good enough level, shall we say, or a good level. In this, it's there could be somebody that you've just never ever heard of, and you've really got to research them. Now there's nothing to say that person's not going to get through to the final and fight for the title. I don't know. It just makes you realise just how thin is the flyweight division and just how much has Demetrius Johnson cleaned it out.
Yeah, you've also got to think though, imagine, what about Brett Casewell then, Mike? Brett Casewell.
Yes.
What if he did it?
Now with Brett, he had a title of a good promotion, and okay, he might not be fantastically well known on the world stage, but we know he's good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying about this whole situation. It's one of them ones where I don't think, it's happened before. I know you say, oh, it's X guys who fought in the UFC, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but we've had guys like Demetrius Johnson from the top 10 in the top 10 in the UFC, and we've still questioned how they've had a title shot.
Yeah. I do you know what?
So these are guys that aren't even in the top 10 in the UFC, and they're going to get a title shot.
I don't mind it that much. I don't mind it that much. It's not. Do you know the reason why I don't mind it that much is because you never know. Horiguchi got a title shot I don't know why Horiguchi got a title shot so early. I thought he was a young prospect. He was brought up too early. He's now got Neil Siri, and that is a tough match for
That
Neil.
was Demetrius Johnson between the weight division. He's when you fought everyone else, and like you've got guys like it's too early to make rematches.
Yeah.
When you own someone in a fight, you can't then make that fight again straight away. That guy then has to go up and win a few.
Yeah. I don't like. At the end of the day, I don't mind. It's not. Do you know what? I'm not going to be fussing over it. It's happening.
And to be honest with you, that will probably get my interest more than other tough series.
Well,
because
I don't know, Mike. I won't be interested in the series that much at all. To be fair, but
I mean, in the fight,
what will do?
All the bullshit. I mean, when I tune in to watch the fight. That's the only bit I'm interested, because you do see the fight in full, and it'd be interesting to see, because that the person is going to get a title shot. So you're basically watching like a tournament for the title.
Yeah, like they've done before. They've done before.
Yeah, well, of sorts, yeah.
Well, they have.
Yeah, with the comeback. So
No, Carlos Esparza.
the difference is that none of those were currently in the UFC. Because
No, Mike. You're trying to pick hairs here, mate. To see title at the end of it, though, Mike. There's title at the end of it. There's title at the end of it. Look, we'll wrap it up because it's happening. Let's get over that. I like the fact that it's going to put more flyweights in the UFC. Simple as that. They're going to influx. There's a handful of guys out there. I'm looking forward to getting signed up. Now, Mike, let's wrap this up. Let's finish this off, because we can go on forever talking about little things like picking hairs there. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to the interviews that we've got on the podcast. There's 7 guests on this week. Already got guests lined up for next week. Already got guests done, or going to be done as well in the next few days. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe. Press the subscribe button down below. You give it a thumbs up. I'm not asked if you do, or give it a thumbs down. Not bothered. If you're not listening to this on SoundCloud, press the follow button, hit the like button, whatever you want to do. Download this, have fun. We love you all, and goodbye. And we hope you all enjoyed this week. We certainly did. We had a great time. And we just want to get you, before you go, jump on your social networking sites and give these people a follow. We have
MMA Scotland.
We have on Facebook UFC Wreckage. Also, their website and Twitter is MMA Wreckage.
We also have MMA UK, and their Twitter handle is We Are MMA UK.
On Facebook, we have Fighting and MMA.
And on Facebook and Twitter, we have The Real MMA Talk.
And then last but not least, on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, they're funny. They talk about MMA. It's funny MMA. Jump on. They'll give you a giggle. And let's finish off with thank you very much, everyone. We will be back very soon, won't we, Mike?
Yep, definitely. Thank you very much, and goodbye.